Still here in Darjeeling. Beautiful views, the Himalayan mountains. That is down in a northerly direction, so Sikkim. Nepal would be in that direction, a little bit to the west from here. Yeah, so just to get you as well up to speed to where we are nearly. Okay, very beautiful up here. So yeah, I think that's the first time I've been in the Himalayas. I've been close to in the China side, but I've never been in the Himalayas itself. If you look at the line of the Himalayas, so it's kind of nice. It's not too cold, not as cold as expected, but yeah, we are only about Darjeeling is 2,005 meters above sea level, which is not that super high. But yes, the mountains, and you will go higher and higher the further up towards Sikkim you go, or Nepal. That is the third highest mountain is as well, I think, in that direction. Third highest in the world, that is in that direction. But it's the highest one in India. It's on the border between India and Nepal. Right. So chapter 9. What this chapter is about? Just an overview of this chapter. It is now we're going to see the fifth and the sixth plague in this chapter. As well the seventh, 5, 6, 7. So again, three plagues like in the previous chapter as well. It kind of follows same kind of rule. So this Moses goes, Moses does, then Moses don't go, then Moses go. And Pharaoh says, yeah, I will. Things stop. Then Pharaoh's again like, okay, now I'm not going to sin. So it's the same kind of theme you found in the previous chapter is then repeated in this chapter. The first plague now, the fifth one that is, in the first plague in this chapter, the fifth one in total, is about the death of the livestock. So God said, well, the livestock, so they're all going to die. Now, yeah, I mean, this is just God sending this sickness, this plague upon the livestock, making all of them die. And now again, we see a distinction made now, even not just between the air, the land of, but between the livestock of and the livestock of the Hebrews and the livestock of the Egyptians. That there's going to be a difference there between the livestock of the Hebrews not going to die. None of them will die, but only the livestock of the Egyptians. And again, that is like totally impossible because those kinds of plagues or sicknesses you only can stop if ultimately you need to separate them totally. Otherwise, they would jump over. Remember, just again the whole COVID time. It's basically impossible to stop this thing. And again, timing. Tomorrow is going to start. He did. God said, and none of the Israelite livestock died, while on the other side, the livestock of the Egyptians died. But even that, Pharaoh's heart was hardened. He did not let go. And so God then said the next thing. Again, God did not send him down to go and speak to Pharaoh like in the previous chapter. So it's a one miracle, a plague being done. Then Pharaoh heart hardened. Then the second one without Moses visiting, and then the third one when he goes and he visits again. Okay, so the sixth one is now the boils. So what they had to do, they had to take soot from the kiln and then throw it up in the air, and in the sight of Pharaoh, that is. And so they did it. They stood before Pharaoh. They threw it up in the air, and boils came upon everyone. Right, the magicians themselves. So before, remember, the magicians already said this is a finger of God. They could not replicate the plague or the miracle, depending on how you want to look at it. And so they could not already long time not do anything. But now in this case, something happens to them where they could not protect themselves from this. Right, so these boils come upon them. So it's not only a question of that they could not replicate the specific miracle, the specific plague, but they could not protect themselves from the repercussions of this plague. Their magic could not protect themselves. It was useless against what was happening here. Again, Pharaoh hardening his heart. It stated that the Lord hardened his heart. Now we know Pharaoh does it first, and then God just gives Pharaoh what he wants, and that's just that. Okay, then the seventh plague, the hail, right? Lightning, fire. I mean, we understand it's not fire. There's nothing really to burn there. But with lightning strike, it looks kind of as if it's like on fire. The sky is on fire. And hail that they have never seen. God said, okay, they need to go to Pharaoh and to tell him to let the people go to serve them, and to show that there's none like him in all the earth. Then if not, then there will come this massive storm and this hail, and and ultimately he's going to say no. The hail is going to come, and it's stated that it's the kind of hail that they have never seen there before. Now, I've seen big hail stones there in South Africa, but I mean, I don't know how big this would have been, but it would have killed everything in its path, in its way. Even it's going to state that even the plants, understandably, is going to die. It's like these trees here, right? The tree, everything here is going to die. I mean, that's what hail does. It destroys everything. Right now, the interesting thing is just that here God actually gave the servants of Pharaoh, who were by now fearing God, a way to save their animals. Because he told them, no, if you fear me, then you can take your animals out and hide them so that the hail won't hit them. They would be protected, right? And so ultimately, yes, that is going to happen. Those who feared, they did that. The others did not. So that the effect of the leader of Pharaoh, now in this case, not taking care of his obstinance, making it basically impossible, or making it so difficult for the people. Everybody's suffering because of his obstinance, his hardened heart. So God made it impossible that other people need not suffer because of that, ultimately. So it's not always necessary that they need to suffer because of what the leader is doing. Right, so it happened, all of this happened, Moses stretches out his hand. Then ultimately Pharaoh was, so after everything destroyed and the people did it, Pharaoh was angry. I mean, not angry, he was now willing to let the people go. He pleaded with Moses to let the people go, for all of this to be done, to be stopped, right? And Moses said, and he said, okay, I will let the people go. And but Moses knew that this is not. He's seen it now a number of times. He will see it again. Pharaoh will say one thing, and then when everything is settled, that the lightning is gone, the hailstorms is gone, Pharaoh is going to change his mind and not let them go again. But just another interesting thing as well, that in the land of Goshen, where the Hebrews were living, there was no hail. So the animals were protected, and the food that they produced there, everything would have been protected there as well. So yes, and there's as well a little bit of some kind of agricultural points being made with the fact that the flax and the barley were struck down, right, because they were ready, ready for harvest. In bud, ultimately not in harvest yet, and in bud, but the wheat and them are not yet. So because that is kind of going to be an important point if we go further up. Pharaoh pleaded, Moses went out, Moses stretched out his hand to God. It all stopped, and it ends again when Pharaoh goes back on his word. He is not going to let them go, just as God told Moses that Pharaoh is not going to do.